So I've just been given a bit of a glimpse into what's next in the world of Sacred. And of course, you're bringing out 2 new games next year. Could you just give us the setting? What's the setup here?
In terms of the story setup, we're looking at about 1,000 years after the events of Sacred. A lot of things have changed, of course, both in the games and in the universe. In terms of Citadel, we're looking at setting up a lot of the events, a lot of the mysteries that'll be unfolding in Sacred 3 as well. But both are standalone games. Both are all about action, about co-op, and about just having a lot of fun.
So. Of course, Sacred Citadel sort of seems like a little bit of an invitation to sort of console fans or more action-oriented fans to sort of embrace Sacred. Is that your idea or your plan?
Yeah, we really want to open up the Sacred universe to a whole bunch of different people. We don't want it to be just exclusive to guys that are into hack and slash. So we're introducing a lot in Citadel. We're introducing them to kind of the expressive combat that we're going to be having in both Citadel and in Sacred 3. We're introducing them to a few RPG elements and just kind of drawing in a lot more arcade players, and hopefully they'll be interested in Sacred 3 as well.
But still, you want to make it appealing in its own right. So
yeah.
what kind of? I mean, it's a brawler. It's 3-player co-op, right?
Yeah. It's a brawler that focuses on co-op. So players will have a lot of different ways, a lot of fun ways to try to work together as a team. So one of the things that we're looking at is having a fighting system that allows for a lot of juggling. I can knock a guy up. My friend can hop up into the air and keep slashing. We have a lot of different fun elements where players can actually kind of troll their friends a little bit. Some guys can check that out on the public floor right now, where we have this hanging log where, if I hit it, it's going to be hitting both my enemies and the rest of my team, so it's definitely a lot of fun, and those are the things that we're looking for with Citadel.
So in terms of the art style, they're a little bit different between the 2 games. What's the thought behind that?
It is different because we want both to be, uniquely identifiable, but we have a lot of carryover. We have the same cultures in Citadel as we do in Sacred 3. We want both to also kind of communicate the tone and the gameplay that we're looking for. So Citadel obviously is a bit more stylized, a bit more exaggerated, keeping in with kind of the arcade feel that we want. But obviously with the bigger brother, with Sacred 3, we have a more kind of realistic looking game, and it kind of keeps in the tone with the gameplay that we have there as well.
Of course, speaking of Sacred 3, the big sort of competitor in that market space right now is Diablo 3. Sort of, to those who are playing Diablo 3, what kind of difference does sort of Sacred offer to them? What would you say is the main sort of thing that sets it apart?
Yeah, I think it kind of comes back to the approach that we have. Diablo's a great game. We absolutely love it all in the office and everything. But we're looking at more kind of a direct action experience, giving more control to the players, not relying so much on say, values to determine how you perform in combat, but rather, actually having direct player input, having, a dodge, having, a lot of these things that uses positioning, that uses tactics, and uses all of these things to really make it a great action experience.
So I really get the feeling that sort of consoles are sort of in it from the beginning this time around when it comes to Sacred 3. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, it's been some time since Sacred 2. Sacred 2 was a great success on console, and we really wanted to kind of continue to capitalize on that success. But that doesn't mean that we're ignoring PC players, of course. We want to create a great PC experience, but we felt like to really bring Sacred 3 and make it relevant to today's players, we had to do a little bit more. And so you're going to find the great action experience on both consoles and on PC as well.
Are there any specific things that you need to tweak between the different versions, or do you want to keep it as the same game across the platforms?
We want to make it as relevant as we can for both platforms. So we're looking at all the different ways that we can do that, from controls, from UI, and things like that. So, yeah.
All right, so next year is going to be huge for Sacred fans. So what can we expect in terms of the rollout? You going to see Citadel first, or?
Yeah, I mean, most likely we'll be aiming for Citadel first to kind of herald the coming of Sacred 3. Obviously, it makes sense in terms of story as well, since it takes place a few hundred years before. So yeah, I'm really excited for people to get their hands on both titles.
And no firm dates yet?
No firm dates yet.
All right, thank you very much for your time.